buddy. Buddy. Hmm. Okay, I guess we'll go with this. This is actually not the way I thought. Mm. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Hmm. That's not going to work. Let's see. Sorry. Let me get this together. Let's see. It's not going to work. Oh, there it is. There's a will, there's a way. I'm just in one of those moods today that I just need to be me, all right? And so let's just talk. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. And I just want to talk about something that's important to me today. And that is, first of all, good morning. And I got on my little workout pants because I got some things I need to do this morning. And I have my new glasses on that I'm kind of trying to wear a little more. Um, they're so nice. I don't want to mess them up, so I keep wearing the other ones. But anyway, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today. Now, I'm a little jet lagged. I went from Dubai, then 2 weeks later, I was in Aruba. And so now it's like trying to get me back together. But anyway, so here we go. Sometimes I like to be really like succinct on what we talk about and how we talk. But today I just want to how you say it. I just want to talk about something that's really important to me. And let me grab something a minute because that helped a little. Let's see. 1 second. Y'all know I'm always fooling around with the lights. It's not outside. Let's see. That's a little better. Let's do one more thing. Let's see. Bring some of that California sun in. I don't know. Anyway, this is where we are. Okay, I need to do that because I see the shutters. Just a little bit of light. Okay. Today is the day. Today is the day. All right. We're going with this one. We're going with this. Oh, look at the people. Hey. Hey. Tito. Kimzik, MC, Kaylin, somewhere over 9. Hello. Okay. So today what we're going to talk about is I want to talk about how I feel 3 years post 3 years post debt-free living, okay? What are the 5 freedoms of debt-free lifestyle? Like, what are the 5 freedoms that I feel is important that I've been experiencing this for 3 years? And I just want to share that with you because sometimes people that are still working, for those of you that are still working towards that debt-free lifestyle, you wanna know what it's like on the other side. And so I consider myself an expert since I have 3 years. No, not an expert, but someone with some true knowledge of what it's like to be consumer debt free for the last 3 years. And So 2020 January I started, and then I completed my debt-free journey of 124K in April 16th of 2021. So I just celebrated my 3-year mark, and it has been a fabulous ride. So let's get started. All right. And thanks for all of you that are joined this morning. So this is the deal. When I think of 5 freedoms for me after being debt free, now let's put this in context. I had no children, no husband, no significant other, no one to tell me how to go about being debt free. So if I wanted to put all my money on my debt and eat peanut butter and jelly for 3 days until the next check come or the next income, I could do that. For those of you that have spouses, significant others, and children, you have to consider someone else. So that's why I was able to do it in 16 months, because I didn't have to check in. I was just like, I'm getting this part-time job. I'm going to work some overtime. I'm going to sell a lot of stuff out of my house. I just did everything, and every cent went towards my debt. And then that $25 a week, I know y'all can't stand it, but I lived off of $25 a week. That was my $25 to do whatever I wanted to do for 16 months. And I paid off 30K of mortgage debt and 94 of consumer debt. So here we are today. 3 years later, what is my take to you on why I feel so great? All right, here it goes. 5 freedoms of a debt-free lifestyle. For me, the first thing came was peace. And I mean peace, like peace out, peace within, peace. And why would you say peace? Peace because do you know we spend 70% of our life worrying about money? And it's not so much the money, it's the how this is going to get paid, how we're going to do this. So the lack of the money is the problem, or the mismanagement of the money is problem. And it's weighing, and that's your focus. So as long as you're in debt, you're focused on that. Now some people just ignore it and they're like, I'm always going to be in debt, I'm going to pay the minimum, and this is the life. So, but someone that aspires to be debt free or want a better life, because you want to buy a house, or you want to get a better house, or you want to get a better car, you want to buy a car, or whatever your thing is, then you know you have to make some changes. But for me, the first thing I felt was like, whew, this peace. Because I'm like, I got all this money now. Like my whole check. Like my whole check. I just have to pay a mortgage. That's it. No credit cards, no school loans, all these little personal debts that people have. Like nothing. And that peace. And there's a scripture that says the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. I can't explain to you what financial peace that came upon me as the first freedom. That was my first freedom. Peace. I want you to stop for a minute and think. If all your bills were paid, and you only had to pay your rent or your mortgage, you had no school loans, no credit card debt, no medical debt, some debt from maybe your children or your other family members. People put stuff in your name and you assume debt that you didn't even acquire. But just think, how do you think you would feel? Let's go on that famous roller coaster when you were little and you just wanted to get on that ride, and you went up high and you went around, and when it was over you were like, whoo, that felt so good. You wanted to go do it again. That's exactly how I felt when I woke up the next day, and I'm like, I don't have to keep working these spreadsheets. I don't have to keep looking and say, okay, I'm going to pay this on this and this and this. And I don't have to worry about a snowball effect. I just bust out laughing like it was goofy, silly. I was like, ha ha, no debt, no consumer debt. That was the best feeling. And I want each and every one of you to experience that. It was a great feeling. It has been the most mentally cathartic feeling in the world. Just I want you to experience, because my experience will be different from your experience. I just know that peace, you're going to love it. The second thing that I felt of the freedoms of debt free is the availability of my mind is freed up. My mind is freed up. Because when you have debt, for someone that wants to be debt free, you begin to worry and you're consumed of trying to make sure you're paying things on time, that you're able to save a little bit of money, and that you can make it go away, because you just want to take an eraser and just erase all the debt. But now that you don't have to worry about, okay, it's the 15th, this is due, it's the 20th, that is due, and start planning. Like before, I had all those spreadsheets and I had a budget and everything had to be da 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 da, and I had to be on my A game. The availability of my mind that is free. All that extra stuff that I used to think about, how I'm going to do this, when am I going to do this, how long? And sometimes the anxiety of trying to do it puts more stress on you, because you want it to happen like the microwave in 30 seconds, or like the drive-through, pull up and have it your way. You have to go through the process. So now my mind is available to what? To think about my dreams and the things that I've wanted to do. So instead of laying up in the bed at night thinking about paying these bills off, how I'm going to do that, now my mind is free and available to think about whatever. So now I think about saving. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. But that's a whole nother subject. But just think about free your mind. Financially free mindset. It's like your mind is available to think about anything else. Now you have to deal with you, because before it was like, I got to do this, I got to work, I got to do. Now you have no more excuses. You have to think about some of your insecurities, some of the things that may not be so pleasant about you, or some of the things that now you have available time mentally to start thinking about. Maybe you're writing a book. Maybe you want to start doing some traveling. Whatever that thing is, you really can think about it now, because your mind is free. The availability of your mind to think beyond paying a bill. Oh, that's so free. Just sit and ponder for a minute. What would it be like to just lay in the bed for a whole day and not have to panic because you got to go pay a bill, you got to go switch something from the computer to transfer some money over, or you got to go work a part-time job or go overtime? You're just free. That is the best feeling. That's the best feeling. You can plan. Maybe now you can change careers. Maybe now you can do some of that silly stuff you wanted to do that you never had time to do, because now you might have been an artist and you stopped because your creative juices is gone, because all you worry about is your debt and paying bills. Maybe you're going to be an entrepreneur. Now you can write those things out and you can really see a future. For me, I just can do what the hell I want to do. And it feels good. Availability of your mind. The availability of your mind. And then the third thing for me is on the 5 freedoms of debt-free lifestyle for me, savings goals. See, when you're getting out of debt, the only goal for savings mostly is that 1K, making sure you have the emergency fund. But real savings goals really hits the, like, open, you're free. It's like open rain. Because guess what? You don't have no bills. You don't have no bills except your lights, your gas, your water. That's the basic stuff. You have no bills. You have no weight. And so guess what? Now you can get the savings goals. So let me tell you what I've been doing. The saving goals, because you have no financial problems. You can save, you can invest, you can do some little crazy stuff. Like now, every now and then I just do a little craziness. I'll just take a couple of $1,000s and I'll say, oh, let me just, buy this or that stock. And it's no repercussions if it goes good or not, because I'm not losing anything. I have not leveraged my bills to get out there and play in the stock market, okay? So the thing that I was able to do in the last 3 years now, I was able to save $130,000, just saving. And so I'll tell you what I did with it, with how I dispersed it. But let me tell you how I did. I still acted as if I had debt, meaning all the extra money that I used to put towards the debt, all the extra money now I put towards saving. So people are like, huh? Yep. The first 2 years, it was like I invested in some things like some more real estate because that brought in more money for me. But you can do that when you're not financially bound. So the rental property that I have in Augusta that's been paid off since 2016, that money is still coming in, $40,000 of income in the last 3 years. And I mean, clear in the last 3 years. So that money was put aside so I can do whatever. The other thing I did was I kept the minimalistic lifestyle. And that's why you can save, because you're not going out here saying, I'm going to buy this. So the first 50,000 that I had, I came on here and I said, what do y'all want me to do with it? And my neighbor was trying to get me to buy a Tesla. And I was like, I've always wanted a Tesla. And now in California, everybody around a Tesla. It's like in Atlanta, everybody has a Mercedes. But I had no desire, because my car, my 350 ML with only 100 and maybe 20,000 miles, 2014 SUV, is working good, looking good. Why would I buy something else? See, when you have money, you just want to save. So I didn't buy that, but I just laughed because I had $50,000. I could have bought it cash, but that wasn't a desire. I wanted to see some money in the bank. The second thing I did was I increased as soon as April 16th, 2021, as soon as I paid off that last bill, I went back to my retirement. And instead of doing my 6%, because I used to do like thousands and thousands, I just changed it to 6% so I can have all that extra money to pay off my debt. I started 30K. That's $30,000 of invested in my retirement. Now, see, that's part of saving and invested in your financial future. So just think, I saved 130,000 just of my regular money, right? Of rental income, for my job, just all this extra money in 3 years, 130. Then, in addition to, this year will be my third year of the 30,000, so it will be 120. So you take the 120 and the 130, that's 250. 250 that I was able to save in 3 years. Okay? That's discipline and that's dedication. But that's that person that is still focused on being at peace and making sure that my mind is free. Now I can have a good strategy for savings. So saving goals became a real priority. So beyond the $1,000, now I have money. And I'll just do another video on the savings, because I did a lot of different things. I bought more rental property. I did some more investments. Yeah, I invested in some things over in, what is that, LA, some multifamily unit homes. They were like 1 point something million, and I put a percentage towards that. So that's what I mean about just having freedom. And if you mess up, well, so what? You got money. You got freedom. All right, so my third freedom was savings goals. Like everything that I ever wanted to do with investments and savings, I was able to do in the last 3 years. Number four, my fourth freedom that I've experienced is the luxury of doing what you want to do. Now listen to this. The luxury of doing whatever you want to do. When you have money, if you just want to sit in the bed all day and eat bonbons and watch Lifetime, then you can do that, because you don't have to sit around and think about, oh, I need to pay the bill, I need to do this, or I need to go out there and get the yard done. Now you can get your yard man. or your yard woman or your yard person or your lawn care provider person. That's what you do. Or you get one of those people that in the South. Now I'm going to be funny. In the South, everybody gets up early. They wash their cars and they cut grass on Saturdays. That's just kind of what you do early. And by 10 o'clock, people are like drinking a beer or whatever they do, sitting back, just chilling because they woke up early. Think about, you don't have to wake up early anymore. You can pay somebody to do that. But actually, you probably want to do it because now you got free time to do it. Like you enjoy it now because it's not a burden. That is what I'm saying about the luxury. So let me tell you another luxury I have is if you're not on here about financial empowerment, please get off. We're not interested in that. I'm going to either pull you off or just get off because this is about financial empowerment. These people want to be empowered financially. So go on to somebody else with that mess, okay? Anyway, I just really love the fact that to have the luxury of doing whatever you want to do. So some of the luxuries that I've been afforded, traveling 7 times a year. Dubai, Aruba, Dominican Republic, Paris, London, Brussels, and Amsterdam. And upcoming some trips for Ghana and Bali. Like you can do that when you don't want to when you don't have financial problems. You know what I mean? When you don't have financial problems, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. And though the luxury, just the luxury, it's just wonderful to have luxuries like that. And when you have money, you can plan early. So every one of my trips, I put myself on a layaway plan just like I didn't have any money. And I paid a little bit at a time. I paid for the trip. Then I would pay for the flight. And one time I had 5 trips that I was paying for at one time. It was like $1,250 a month. But I was putting a little bit on each trip. So by the time the trip came, the trip and the flight and my little spending money was there. That's what you do. All right. So when you're looking forward to some of the goals that you want to reach, you can do it when you become debt free. So my 4th thing for my 5 freedoms of debt free is the luxury of doing what you want. You don't have to get up in the morning and rush out because you got to get an extra job or stay at work late because of part-time. You have the freedom to think about what you want to do. And you can say, no, I don't want to do that. When your boss say you want to do some overtime, before I would just, because my level, they never gave me overtime. It was during that COVID that I got the overtime because of what was going on in the hospital. But I never was able to get overtime. And so now if someone asks me for overtime, I will be like, no, because I have extra money to do the things that I desire. Now, I'm not saying I'm not too good to do that, but I have a choice. And those are some of the freedoms, the luxury to do what you want or you don't want to do. Now, the other caveat to having being debt free and those luxuries is doing some of the things you've always wanted to do. Like now, I will go to restaurants that is super expensive that I would have never thought, and I'll buy something or eat something that before I was like, oh, I would never do that. Or I would get an hour and a half massage instead of a 30-minute because I would be just glad to get 30 minute, or I'll incorporate the massage on some of my trips. That's what I mean about the things that you would normally do or not do because finances was a problem. You have the luxury and it feels good to do whatever you want to do. All right. So the 5th thing is trying to figure out what to do with the money. Like you have all this extra money. You're like $3,500 a month extra. So that's why I was saving. I was just doing all these different things. But now you're some home improvements. You just have all this extra money and you've got to figure out something constructive that will bring benefit to you and your household. And so for me, saving and investing that 130 that I saved up in 3 years and investing that extra 30K per year to be 120K in 3 years, that's what it's about. Being able to just say, what am I going to do with this money? To have so much surplus to be able to say, I need to figure out what to do with this money. The blessings of the Lord will run you down and overtake you. And it's not to be boastful or bragging, but it's a fact that if you do the work, the reward will come. So just think, 16 months of my life, all I did was focus on working and paying those debts off and sacrificing on that $25 a week budget. That's all I had. But look at now, 3 years later, more rental income, another home. I actually have home in Georgia, a home in California, and no stress, no stress. Because if I leave California, I'll just sell this house or rent it out and go back to Georgia, wherever I'm going to go for retirement. But not renting and giving them $22.80 a month that I did for 6 months before I end up was able to move in this home, because I was able to purchase it. And I think back now of that was a smart move. And even though I was debt free, consumer debt free, it's like, why would you? Because it was an investment, and I was going to be here at least 3 years, and I'm not wasting $22.80 on an apartment and get nothing out of it. Nothing out of it. And I like being, I've been a homeowner since 1998, and living in an apartment, I can't, that's just not my judge. And it was be very disruptive of the people in and out. You just have no privacy. It's just different. And no disrespect, but I've always had a home, since 1998. And so coming here in 21 and living in an apartment, it was a lot. It was affecting me a lot, because all I kept thinking about, I'm wasting money. And number two, these people are smoking weed and they're in and out. And these were nice apartments. But in California, everybody can smoke weed and it's legal. But, I'm from Georgia, just smelling that stuff and interacting. It was just too much. But anyway, so trying to figure out what to do with the money, all this extra money. It's like, whoa, it's a mad, mad world, all this money. But I found avenues to invest, and it feels good to just see the money. Sometimes I wake up and just go, man, you got this money. Like, what is going on? To be a blessing. So this is my new mantra. When I talk about trying to figure out what to do, now that I've saved the 130 and have been investing the 30K in my retirement, I have money and I have visions and goals to help people. And I don't want to get into this now, but there's a 501c3, a nonprofit that I'm getting ready to start, because I've always wanted to do this, but now I have the money. I have no excuse. And it's so exciting because I can do it, and it's not going to cause me any stress, and I'll be able to bless an abundant amount of people. That is really what being financial free for me is all about. First, to have peace, because the stress on your body when you're worried about paying bills, you get the reflux, you're stressed out, you're scratching, you can't sleep, you're rocking, you're yelling at your kids, you're yelling at your significant other, you're not performing at work, you're calling in. It's things that affect you financially. But when you're debt free, consumer debt free, you're focused. Now people are like, well, why are you just not trying to pay off the house that you live in? Because that's not a goal. That's not a goal, because this is not my last house. No, I do pay a little extra on it, but I didn't do it like the other house. I was like half payments and then an extra payment. I was paying 2 full payments extra a year. Like that was a different grind. No need for that, because the house that I'm going to live in when I sell this one, California money and Georgia money is totally different. I'll be able to come out with that and all the little extra I have and be able to pay cash for whatever I want when I go back, because it's going to be small, because I'm going to be in the retirement mindset. Okay, so So that freedom, and it feels good. It feels good to be able to go to the grocery store and you see a family that's you. I pay attention to everything. You see them like putting something back and they grabbing it and they're trying to make a decision and you're about to cry because you're like, God, I have all this extra and they're struggling. So you just let them go and buy whatever, and then you go to the counter and you swipe your card and you say, have a blessed day. Now they can go back and take that money that they was thinking about maybe buying that roast chuck or whatever, and they can go do that because you've paid for the stuff that they've narrowed down to. This is all I have and this is what, and so you give them abundance. That is the best feeling. That really is the best feeling. Or you see the homeless people and you just go buy burgers and stuff, even though I don't eat burgers, but that's the quickest thing. You know, everybody likes the McDonald's, Burger King. And then you go back and find them. That's the thing that you do when you have the extra money. A lot of people say, well, why don't you give to your family and friends? When you give people and they don't know the struggle, they don't, you work hard for your money. You have to help them invest in something like a business. I had a cousin, he's in the trucking business, and he called me. Now they don't know what kind of money I have because you don't let people know. But he called me one day and he never called, so I already knew something was up. Not that, he just never calls. And so when he called, he started rambling about this trucking and something about insurance. Well, I was getting ready to buy my third rental, and I was like, I don't know. But I didn't say that to him in my mind. I said, you know what, God, if you bless me, I gotta help him. Because first of all, like he wouldn't ask, and he didn't. He just was rambling. I said, so how much you need? He was like, oh, I have this amount, and I still need this. And so I was like, okay. I said, let me tell you now. I got some plans. I got something going on in the next 2 months. That are you going to be able to? And he was like, oh yeah, yeah. And really, I didn't need my money, but I had to do that because I don't know if he was going to like get me. And so I wanted to hold him accountable. Okay. And so I text him because that's a binding agreement. I text him what we agreed to, and I said, good luck on your truck driving, blah, blah, blah. So he needed insurance. And so sure enough, the week before, I texted him. I was like, I need this money, which I did need the money, but I needed to not set a precedent with somebody think that I'm the ATM, the Adrian's, automatic Adrian's money. But anyway, so he gave it back, and it felt good. Now, if he would have called me, and said he needed the money, I would have given him the money no matter what, because I had much surplus. To him that knoweth to do good and doeth not, to him it is sin. Knowing that you are in a place to do it, that's the freedom. And nobody knows that even happened. He gave it back, and nobody probably ever know unless he told them. I know, I think I told him, I said, don't be telling nobody because, then they be coming back, That's why I'm in California. You get away, you can't be in my face like, oh, I need this, whatever, whatever. But it felt good being able to help him with his business. And what he needed it was some expensive insurance for the truck. He is a truck driver. And he had just bought the truck. And, you can't kind of pay that truck note and try to buy this expensive insurance. So some guy let him use some insurance until he did something, whatever. But he was able, and it was only like $1,500. It wasn't like a massive amount of money. And he did what he needed to do. Fast forward, I did end up getting a house because it was a new build, but I said something to them about the fence. A dog or animal, a squirrel could go under that fence, and it was going to be rental. And I know people would have children. I wasn't going to jeopardize my tenants. And they were like, oh, we're going to fix it. And then that realtor lady, she's a whole nother mess. But she said, oh, we got to fix it. And I sent my friends, because you always do your own trust but verify. And when my friend could stick both of her big old feet, not that she had big feet, but you know what I mean, both of her feet under that gate, I was like, I'm done. You told me that it's right. So, and I had put that in writing. So I just went back to the email and I said, you all didn't do this. And it was one more thing. I can't think of it. And so I got out of that contract and they gave me my earnest money and I was done. Don't let people hold you hostage because you want something. Let me tell you the blessing. So that money, I think it was about 40 something thousand that I was going to be investing that I had put to the side. So I ended up buying some property in Missouri, which was a better bang for my buck. With that, I cleared 700 a month on that. And I did that for 13 months, and the people destroyed the property, but whatever. But I was able to make 22.5 off of the mortgage, the rent for that 12 months. And then I sold it for 25,000 more, and I just got out of it because it was too far away, and it was like, no, I'm not doing that. But so that extra money, what did I do? I put it right back and reinvested into those multifamily homes in LA. So and that's what you do. You just take that money, you reinvest. So that $130, it just keeps reoccurring. Now it was less than that. These are interest. I've made a bunch of interest because it's been 3 years off of this. And you don't keep your money in the regular bank. You got to have some high yield or some CDs. You got to have at least 4.3 up. I don't invest in nothing less than 4.3. And that was what the average was. And now I'm really into some things that I'm getting 14% and 30%. But you can do that when you're not worried, okay? So I just want to say to you that it feels good to try to figure out what I'm going to do with all this extra money. So I have a decision to make now. I had a 3-year goal to be here. So November, December is my goal. I've exceeded every goal that I had for coming here, for my retirement, making that money that I need to make. So my pension will be this and that. So now I'm thinking, and I've been praying, because you don't just make this kind of decision. I said, God, you got to show me. Do I stay or do I go? I have no desire to leave because I love California, but I want to be obedient. So my thing now is figuring out my next chess move. So if I'm going to sell this home, is this a good time to do it? I just checked. I think it's 128,000 of equity that I have. I put a really good chunk because I had the money from the other investment. But so this would be 2 years that I had this home. So I'm really trying to make sure that what I do is good for me in the future, but I don't want to make a rash decision. And I'm comfortable. And sometimes when you get comfortable, God will be like, oh, you're too comfortable. Time to get you going. But I would have said that I met my goals. So I have to stay at least until November. My real goal is to do one more year. If I could do one more year and stack some more paper, that's really what I want to do, because there are a couple of more investments that I want to be a part of. And I'm obsessed with saving and investment now. See, you go from spending, and paying off debt to now saving, and investment. That's a good place to be. That's a great place to be. And so, but what I really do, like when my cousin had that, I had already said if he couldn't give me my 1,500, I was going to tell him, let me give you a little bit more, and let me buy into your company, just to be able to be the financial leg for you and some wisdom. But when he was able to do it, I just like, okay, because I want to be able to help people to build whatever they want to build, but I'm not just gonna give you anything. I'm gonna get a percentage. But that was stress. It helped people less stress, because when you don't have a business credit score, because you have no business history, financial history, it's hard to get money. Yeah, they look at what you have, but if you don't have no money sitting over to the side, and that was one of the things. Some of these investments I had to be SEC approved. Like, oh, they had to like check all my bills, and not my bills, my all my investments and my money. Like, have you made over 200,000 a year, and whatever. But it was a little stressful, because I was like, these people are like microscopically all in my business. But it felt good to be able to be able to invest on that level. The little girl from the projects invested on that level, so that felt good. And yesterday I was on a call, and they were trying to get me to invest, and they were like, oh, you got, I was like, oh, I've done that already. I know I can do that. And I didn't do it in a bragging way, but it felt good to say, oh, I'm investing in X. Oh, they said, oh, you invest in it, so they know that I've already been approved. But anyway, it just feels good. So that's what I want to do, be able to be a blessing. So let me recap this for you. For me, my 5 freedoms of debt-free lifestyle in the last 3 years is that peace. Peace, peace, peace. No bills, no worried about paying stuff on time or whatever. And then availability of my mind to be free to just think on whatever and ponder on whatever and be creative. All right. And then the third was meeting savings goals above and beyond your 1K, like being able to go into my retirement and do that 30K. And I'm going to do that for the next 10 years. So I will be like, great, great, great. And 30K is because I'm over 50 and the catch up. So, and I did a video on that over on TikTok, a whole 7-part series on being retirement ready. And just saving that 130,000 on my own and putting that 30K annually into my retirement. And then the fourth thing is the luxury of doing what you want, not traveling, going 6 and 7 different places in 1 year, like good places. So when I'm doing that Europe trip, that trip is like huge, and a friend of mine, she's retiring, so that's one of the trips we're going. It's about 40 of us. But anyway, it's those things, that the luxury of doing, going, not doing, being in control of your destiny. Still acknowledging the Lord, but being in control to say, I don't want to go. I don't want to come in extra. I don't want to work overtime. That's a good feeling. And then the fifth is trying to figure out what to do with all the extra money. Like, what are you going to do with it? So traveling and savings, that's all I'm worried about. And I shouldn't say worry because it's not a word. That's all my concern. Now, it took me 16 months to work it out, going through COVID, being mentally taxing, because I'm separated from everybody. They're saying staying home, and normally I like staying home, but when somebody tell you to stay home, that's a lot. And so I worked those spreadsheets and I paid those bills off, 124K in 16 months. So now, 3 years later, do you think I've done well? Do you think I have done the things that I should do? Like, I can't even think of anything else I would want to do except getting this 501c3, and that's going to happen real soon. But being able to help others, that is really, really important. So I want you guys to think about continuing to be debt free, working your part-time job, getting your overtime, stop spending, and working on that debt-free portfolio, consumer debt-free, so you can get into your retirement goals and your saving goals and buy some of the extra things that you want and have that peace, that glow, that happiness, that joy. That's what it's all about. So shoot me something in the comments of, does this help you guys? Like, I always am very careful not to come across as being braggadocious or anything. I just want to let you know facts. These are the things that's happening in my life. And this is how I made it happen. Now, just think, in 3 years, I could be back in debt. I could have been clubbing and buying stuff and yeah, I buy a few little things, but things are not important anymore. Once you see that minimalistic lifestyle and that you can live with less, you just don't want to be spending money. I went to Aruba and we're at the resort. And so there's a little store. We always go over there. And my best friend, she and I, we always get groceries. And we did, American money was $52 each for 8 days, right? And so we get over there and we've decided, what days we're going to have our salad, what days we're going to go out to eat. Well, something happened with the air conditioner on her side because my side was good. But where the living room, the kitchen, the little balcony, all that extra in her room, it was cold. My side was good because it's 2 units. And so they end up coming and they couldn't fix it. And so it was considered like a complaint, but we figured it out. She had an electric blanket and we figured out how to make it work and whatever. But anyway, they called and say, Mrs. Arnold, we got $100 for you at the restaurant. So now we got extra money. So we were like, okay, instead of going out, we just gonna stay at the pool from 11 o'clock after water aerobics. We're just gonna lay at the pool and let them bring us food. So we had our lunch every day at the pool for like 3 days, and then the last day we ate a nice lunch before we got on the plane. But so you see how money will find you if you do good by your money. And other people like, oh, you like, I'm just not big on eating out because I eat so funny, so many of the meat and stuff like that I don't eat. So having the food and having the availability to be satisfied, and it wasn't an all inclusive type because I really don't like all inclusive because it makes me eat and it makes you want to buy a little drink a little bit more alcohol because you're like, oh, this is part of the package deal. But we had our strawberry daiquiris every night because we bought it from over there and we made it and we were on the deck, just chilling with the little music thing so we could hear music, and then we have this big window and we even turned the TV so we were watching movies. I mean, we were just clowning, having a good relaxed time. And then we went to the Soul Music Festival the last part of the week because it started. We always go early and it started. So we got into a little, but the resort had so many bands and the cultural. They did a carnival exposition. It was like an hour and a half. The different musicians and everybody was there from it was a lot of people from New York and because they were coming for the festival. So it was very, for me, I was with my people. I got to be around a lot of African American people because in California I don't see that like it was for me when I was in Atlanta. So I got my feel of being with my peeps and cutting up and dancing at the beach, dancing in the pool, just having a ball. Wilding out and still maintaining a good time. So I didn't spend a whole bunch of money. Like I might have spent $200. That's nothing. That's nothing. Like $200. I bought a T-shirt. I wish I had a T-shirt so I can show you. And I never buy souvenirs, but this T-shirt for the Soul Festival was it was nice. But what I'm saying is, when you have money, you just make different decisions. You're not wasteful. You enjoy life, but and some of my friends say I'm still too tired or whatever. I'm just happy with me. So that's what it's about. So be happy with you. Continue your savings journey, your debt-free journey, and retirement is on the way. I'm looking forward to it. You guys have an awesome day. And remember, the 5 freedoms of debt-free lifestyle. Oh my God, it feels good. That peace, that availability of my mind to just be able to think about whatever. Being able to meet all my savings goals and set them really, really high. And then the luxury of doing whatever I want to do. And finally, trying to figure out what to do with all that extra money. You guys have a wonderful day. Mwah.